hello there. What do we know about the EV cars? Well, before I start, just for all the EV evangelists and the milk float owners, I'm not anti-EV car. If you know anything about me at all, you'll know that I absolutely love electric motors. Simply because when I was flying radio-controlled helicopter, the new brand of electric helicopters came out and they were absolutely fantastic. They were small, lightweight, huge amounts of power compared to the petrol engine version. So yes, I am pro EV, but I'm I'm anti lithium batteries. They are the danger. So anyway, so what do we know about electric cars? I've made up a list of 17 things that I think we ought to know about before we venture into the EV market. So for a start, I don't think there was going to be enough power stations to meet the supply for the demand of EV cars come 2030. This is one of the reasons why I think Rishi Sunak pushed back the date for EV cars only to be sold back to 2035. It's because we haven't got the generating capacity to power all these cars. Anyway, so come 2030, come 2035, expect to have rolling blackouts at the normal charging time when you get home from work. Anyway, so what do we know? Number one, the initial purchase is going to be considerably higher than an ordinary petrol car, and the depreciation rate is absolutely phenomenal. You really need a charging station at home, and quite a few of us won't be able to have a charging station at home. We're quite fortunate because we've got a front garden and we could probably dig that up and put a car there if we had to. But for a lot of the terraced houses in this area, especially in town, who have no front garden, having a wire running across the pavement is not the answer. Anyway, fires. Okay, they might not catch fire as often as petrol cars, but when they do go, they burn at an incredible temperature, several times hotter than a petrol car fire would be. And they also require special aftercare as well. Once the fire has been put out, if you can put it out, what you have to do is you have to monitor that car for at least a month afterwards, unless you can dismantle a battery beforehand. But an EV battery will catch fire up to several weeks after the initial blaze has been extinguished. So that's something that we've got to watch out for. And of course, with that comes the added risk of service stations. Imagine you have a large collection of EV cars in for service, and one of the batteries is just about to go. It's going to take the whole garage down. So you're going to have possibly outside storage and possibly a huge great gap around each of the EV cars, so that it doesn't take out the next one and then the next one and the next one. EV cars, so I'm told, are 8 times more likely to break down than petrol cars. To make the battery green, they say that you're going to have to run your car for 60,000 miles. So this will equal out the emissions that EV battery consumed during its construction. And of course, there's no mention of the decommissioning costs when the car comes to the end of its life, or the battery comes to the end of its life. And of course, we have limited charging cycles. You won't be able to have an EV car and have it run for 40 years. The average number that I've heard is 3 years. So you've got to get 60,000 miles in that first 3 years to make the car green. Now, whether or not it will last 3 years, I don't know. But some batteries are covered by warranty for 8 years. So that would indicate to me that the battery may last up to 8 years. The EV batteries are heavy. So we're finding now that especially in America and Australia, car parks, the multi-storey car parks, are collapsing under the weight of all these EV cars. They're just too heavy. If you happen to damage your EV battery, there was a guy in America who had a small 3mm puncture into the underbelly of his car because something fell off the vehicle in front that's bounced under his car and punched a tiny little hole into his EV battery. That cost him somewhere in the region of about $60,000 to replace that battery for his car. And we have the McMaster. He also had a similar type of arrangement, and that would have cost him $20,000 for his battery. So they ain't cheap. And quite often, mechanical damage like that will not be covered by insurance, and it will not be covered by your warranty. So just be warned. Car companies are fiddling the miles per kilowatt hour. Yeah, incredible, isn't it? They're overestimating the range by about 60%, we're finding out now. This is a story that came out from America. And we do know that there's a guy, EV Carnage, out there who said that his Mustang, his electric Mustang that he'd purchased, he said he had a range of 210 miles. He barely got 110 out of it. So it's not good. Car charging times can be, as we found out from this EV Carnage, that it can take up to 2 hours to charge your battery to 100%. Journey times, because you've got to stop and recharge your car, and you're more likely to run out of miles early because they've overestimated the range, may cost you parking fees in these service stations. You know, you go in, your number plate's ready, you go in, you park up, you wait for your battery charging station to clear, then you move into that battery charging station and spend 2 hours charging it up. Well, this time you spent 3 hours in the car park and you've got yourself an 80 quid fine. Come 2027, the EU will be issuing or insisting that all cars entering the EU have a form of passport for the battery. So it will have its, service history and all that kind of stuff, right, which will mean a pain in the neck for us lot who live in England. Right, insurance costs. Apparently, they're starting to go through the roof. Second-hand cars. Now, they're a no-no, really, because you have no history of the battery. Has it been damaged? Is there any damage that's been concealed? These second-hand car dealers, you know what they're like. And the power-to-weight ratio. You might not necessarily be an aggressive driver, but due to the excessive power-to-weight ratio, you may just get through your tyres a bit more quickly. And of course, they damage the roads. Being heavier than a standard petrol car, they're going to damage the roads. And quite often, the door opening mechanisms on these EV cars are electric. And some people have actually been trapped inside their cars when the EV battery caught fire and they've been unable to open the door. Quite often there is a mechanical lever that you can pull that will release your door, but not the back doors. The back doors are quite often purely electric. So if you've got Granny in the back, well, you might have to kiss her goodbye. Unless you can drag her through the window or over your front seat to get her out. But that's one of the dangers. Because they like to have these flush, streamlined exteriors, the door handles are now flush. And of course, you have to have an electronic method of opening them. I do believe that the McMaster showed me on his Porsche that he had a key that he could just squeeze into the slot and open his dead Porsche from the outside. and the video that he did, he actually got locked in. When he got into his car, he closed the car door, right, with the key in his hand. Luckily, his ex-wife that he was visiting had a key for his car indoors, so she went and got her spare key and got him out of the car. So that's what we know. about, well, there are a lot of things wrong with EV cars, and that was just a list of a few of them that I've found so far. Now, looking or listening to some of the YouTube videos that I've seen about EV ownership, is that they're okay for short distances, so if you want to just nip down to the shops. But if you want to go outside your 15-minute city, you might need to get a petrol car. As we're finding out, there's a lot of people who have, especially in America, they'll have an EV car for running around, and then if they want to go on a long journey, they'll have a diesel truck. So yeah, EV cars are not really designed for long journeys. Now, I quite often do 275 miles down to my mother, or when we go on holiday I might do 300 miles. So having an EV car would mean for me that 5-hour journey might turn into a 9-hour journey, simply because I'd have to charge it twice on the way down to my dear old mum. But anyway, like I said, so I'll say it again at the end so that the EV evangelists and the milk float owners don't have a go at me for being an anti-EV car. I'm not anti-EV, I'm anti-lithium battery. If we can get a battery that will give us a range of similar to a petrol car, I'll be happy. I would happily buy an EV car that gave me 400 miles of range. I would quite happily buy an EV car if it had a 15-minute charging cycle and give me 400 miles. Now, there are new batteries coming out. I said before, we've got the sodium batteries, we've got the zinc water batteries, we've got the sulfur batteries. There's even a diamond battery coming out, and I do believe that there is a nuclear battery that gives very small voltage, but it will last for 50 years. So that is something worth thinking about. And there are other batteries on the way. There are other forms of engine being designed at the moment that run on fuels such as ammonia. Now, ammonia is very slow to burn, so they're going to probably have to mix it with something else just to get that flame to propagate inside the cylinder. But the thing with ammonia is, I worked on a very large gas carrier, and boy, is ammonia horrid. It's hygroscopic, so it actually goes to you. It goes to any water surface, anything. So the mucous membrane, your mouth, your nose, your eyes, your lungs, it's pretty nasty stuff. So that's one of the dangers of ammonia. Now they're talking of hydrogen as well. Now hydrogen is a clean fuel, maybe, but you do have to spend a lot of time processing it, especially if you're getting it from methane. You have to steam treat it to break down the methane into hydrogen and carbon dioxide, or carbon. So that's adding to the so-called non-green effect, having carbon coming out of your gas. But there is another car out there that is producing its own hydrogen as you're driving it along. Well, how far along that's going to go, I don't know. But what we need to do is definitely get away from lithium polymer batteries, because the first thing you'll know is you'll hear a pop, and then you'll hear a woof. Yeah, that's as the car goes up. Anyway, thumbs up. See you later. Bye then.